Alright, let's just cut to the chase. It's been a few weeks, we all know how this event turned out. Unlike how I usually make videos on the past few, with the lead-ups and whatnot, this one's gonna be pretty different. The hatch kinda sucked. I'd say it's the second worst recent event we've had, the worst one being the haunt, but they aren't that much different. But before talking slack about the event more, let's go over what it did well. Now it goes without saying this, but they absolutely nailed the hub. It seems like that's one of the consistent things from these events. I love the map being centralized around these elements that, while keeping it pretty grounded, doesn't stop them from going all out with the details. I think a lot of people's favorite area, including myself, was the Emerald Wilds, which hosted the fire, water, and earth biomes. Not saying they didn't put much effort into the other areas, as they're quite detailed as well. Not sure why they decided to go with an ocean depth fight for the darkness element, considering the ocean is heavily connected to, water. I think a dark cave or city could have worked better, but I digress. I also love the background soundtracks for the biomes. They were made by not only Jaya Light, who composed the track for the Haunted Mega Edition earlier in the year, but also Beastlake, who doesn't need introduction. But for those unaware, he's behind the soundtracks of games like Piggy, Just to Impress, and more. The background tracks definitely add to the atmosphere of their respective biomes. From the serene, friendly tone of the Connection biome to the chilly melody of the Ice biome, the soundtracks are simply good. Aside from the obvious things like the hub and soundtrack, I think the items look good as well, except the main eggs. We'll talk about them later. I've seen people not liking the hatch items, and I don't really see the issue. Okay, aside from the bling track items, most of the items perfectly fit a summer theme egg hunt, like the hat, tail, and backpack. The wings are my favorite though, but overall they're not bad. The grand prize items also look really good. We got another fabric jade, continuing after the infinite egg from the Hunt first edition last year. The prismatic EGG head also looks very nice. I've heard people say it reminded them of the Egg of Destiny from Egg Hunt 2014, and I do see it. Funnily enough, they mentioned EGG from the 2020 Egg Hunt. I don't really get the relation, but it's cool I guess. Oh yeah, there's also the return of launcher eggs. I like how each of them has a symbol representing the admins, video stars, and developers. That's neat little details. And they can also be combined to a whole new egg. More neat little detail. I like the use of cutscenes for stuff like the grand prizes and the egg hatching sequences. Even though some of their angles were a bit whack, it's still good animation nonetheless. One last thing I wanna mention. The UI is pretty clean. Look at this. Revolutionary. Alright, now that I look like someone scraping the bottom of a barrel, time to dive into the pile of errors this conglomerate has. This section's gonna go like all over the place, so bear with my two brain cells for a bit. Let's start with the eye candy, which was the hatch having 1,000 games. I mean, thank god it wasn't actually 1,000, but still, over 600 doesn't make it any better. I want to know who in the higher ups approved this idea, let alone the one that thought this was a good idea in the first place. There was obviously no quality checking with the games whatsoever. They just used a bot or something to find the top 1,000 games using an analytics or some shit and just pick them up. Obviously you're gonna get games like Natural Disaster Survival and epic minigames in there, but you're also gonna get slop like 10 clones of Squid Games and this. Do you know that pretty much everything about the event was leaked like a week prior to the beginning? Yeah, that's what happens when you have hundreds of games with varied quality, with varied trust level among developers. The essential plot of the hatch was you had to go through these games and, well, find the eggs. You start with the Connection biome being the first unlock area, then you work your way through the other 9 elements. And that's fine, except it's not fine. To get an element egg and a hatch item, you need to collect 10 of an element egg to combine them into one egg prize. In total, the hatch has over 100 collectible eggs. That's double the amount from Egg Hunt 2020. And at first I thought, well okay, that sounds like a lot, but it's just going through 100 games like the first hunt. Yeah, no. You see, the eggs have rarities, going from common to primal and mythic. Each element has 5 common eggs, 4 primals, and 1 mythic, with them having their own chance of appearing in the participating games. Personally, I don't like this system. It purposely made the event a whole lot grindier, basically turning it into a tedious simulator game. You could be going through 15 games and still not get that last mythic that you need to complete the line. I think they did notice this issue, which is why they added egg trading so you can trade your eggs around to complete the collection. You can also merge your eggs to get one from a higher rarity. These two are good systems to combat the stupid issue that they created in the first place. But then there's another thing I find weird. To trade with players, you have to go through the main hub, being the Connection biome. But why didn't they just put trading areas on the other 9? Hell, just have 4 total trade areas for all 4 islands. That will make it so much faster. In fact, this is the complete opposite the egg merging system has. To merge eggs from, let's say, the air element, you need to teleport to the air biome to merge them there. I don't see why they just didn't make it so you can combine any element eggs no matter which biome you're in. There's also an unnecessary hassle. After you collect an egg in the game, a UI will pop up asking you if you want to continue hunting or go back to the hub. This is a great feature. A common problem with the Dev Hunt format is that you will need to always rejoin the hub or close your current Roblox instance before you can move on to whatever the next game is. It's just a mild issue, but it's a very welcoming one. So why is this being mentioned in the bad section? Well, because it doesn't work. Yeah, half of the time, clicking on either of the buttons would give you an error. This is so fucking evil, by the way, like TSPMO. All the developers did to do was flip this one switch in their game settings. One switch. It's not a massive issue. It can be very annoying when you're trying to grind the event. Let's come back to the hub for a bit. One main issue that the hub had was not that it's too massive or anything, though that probably is an issue for someone else. The hub is split into 4 different islands, and to get to said islands, you need to manually teleport to them by either using the gliders that spawn or using the minimap. Pretty straightforward. But at the start of the event, you will always spawn on this pre-hub island thing, where you have to walk to a boat to teleport you to the actual hub, before you can then teleport again to a different island. I don't see why this pre-hub thing was needed for so long. Eventually it got removed and you would instead just spawn in the actual hub instead. So that's good. There's a bit I want to talk about the item prices. I did say earlier that they're actually pretty good. That can't be said for the gold track. No wait, the bling track. Shit, Solstice. The Solstice, right? God, these color palettes are just bizarre. It feels like they were forced to create a paid track to follow the previous events and couldn't figure out a good palette. Other than the backpack one, I don't think it looks good, but that depends on preference, I guess. Also, holy hell, what were they trying to make with the event bundle? This texturing is god awful. It looks like they dipped the core block stuff locker into mud like 20 times. This guy made the treasure finder bundle from the class and look priceless. Alright, last thing. I've delayed it long enough. Let's talk about the main reasons people heavily dislike this event. A couple days before the event started, people caught a glimpse of a bad actor in the test place for the hatch. Of course, Rambles on Twitter started causing hashtag boycott the hatch to trend. This wasn't the only contributor though, as people have suspected that the promotional image for the event was created with generative AI. There were also rumors that the eggs in the event will be AI generated, serving as a tech demo for one of Roblox's new features. It wasn't too far-fetched though, as that was the exact same reason the haunt happened, which was to showcase Roblox's new built-in capture system. Do I personally believe the promotional images and eggs were not created by humans? It's tough to say. If you look in Roblox's promotional images and videos for the hatch, you can see how detailed the eggs are, and yet compare them to the ones we got in the actual event and, yeah, I wouldn't put it out of possibility. I believe the eggs in the promotional events were not AI generated, but the ones we actually got in the event were. I'm not fully certain, but there's a video by Sharpplots showing just how easy it is to make one of these, and they do look pretty similar. This and the bad actor being in the event was the biggest reasons the hatch got the bad reputation it has, causing it to be the most disliked event game ever on the platform. Now, the bad actor did get kicked off the event, and that's good and all, but it really seemed like they didn't want to do that because it's the right thing to do. Roblox took 3 days to respond to the community, saying how they have taken appropriate actions in accordance with our policies, and yet the guy's account was still untouched. By that time, a lot of developers had already revoked their invitation to the hatch, causing it to only get around 600 games instead of the 1000 they were aiming for. It took them 11 days later to finally ban the guy off the platform. What took them so long, you wonder? Well, days prior, Craigcraft mentioned in a live stream that he wouldn't play the event if Roblox doesn't ban the bad actor. I think both you and I know that Chris basically like Roblox's teacher's pet. He's one of the biggest Roblox content creators, and if he didn't play the event, then who will? I think that's definitely one reason why Roblox actually decided to pull the lever. I was very disappointed to play the event. There were tons of red flags from leaks and controversies, but I tried to not let it affect my experience with the event. After everything that has happened, I'm still standing by what I said at the start of the video. This event is not the worst one we've had. The haunt left us pretty much without any information on how it would work until revealed close to the event to be merely a costume contest. Not that it went well anyway. The game's event happened right after the classic, and it basically looks like a reskin with an added competitiveness aspect. The prices were also pretty mid, to be honest. And the Winter Spotlight event? Well, I don't think people even knew it was happening. I didn't cover these events because they have practically nothing interesting to talk about, just basically the same thing over and over again. But the HUD Mega Edition blew everyone out of the water with its original aspects. That's why I say it's the best modern Roblox event so far. The hatch tried to follow its footsteps. It implemented original mechanics to differentiate itself from the other previous events. They just weren't executed well enough. There's a ton of flaws I've mentioned in the previous section, but that didn't stop some people from generally liking this event, whether it being their first egg hunt or event in general. I saw a lot of people dismissing the hatch as an official continuation of egg hunts after 5 years, dismissing it as egg hunt 2025. I do see where they're coming from. This event was so different than the last one we had over half a decade ago. In the end, whether you want to accept it or not, this was an egg hunt. The whole point of egg hunts is you finding eggs. It doesn't matter if the eggs in the same map or in a whole different game, that's just what egg hunts are. The version has now ended at its lowest, not that 2020 wasn't a bummer. Egg Hunt 2015 was the first to start the whole death hunt format, which funnily enough coincidentally happened a couple months more than a decade ago. Roblox, I know you do listen to feedback and criticism. All the screaming and shouting was the reason you pulled 8 hands back for another shot. I know you can do better than what the hatch gave us. The same screaming and shouting brought us one of the best events in recent times, and I don't want that to be the last one. Right now, the community has seemingly given up their hopes from the recent events to create their own. We're getting an 8 by the same people behind 2018's next year, and there's another community event that's apparently been planned for over 5 years. Roblox, please, go support these teams, give them a hand, give these people the support they need. They're doing this for the community. Events should be made for the community in mind, not whoever shareholders or an investor you're trying to impress up there. Because good events are the things that hold the community together. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.